Hi guys, so welcome to Worldwide Wes. I'm Wes, this is my Super73 S2 and today we're going to go on a little journey across Waterloo Bridge and we're going to be talking about floating bus stops. So we're going to jump on the bike and have hopefully a nice journey across the bridge. And good timing, we got the green light. So we're about to go over Waterloo Bridge and the subject of floating bus stops refers to the bus stop to my right on the other side of the road. But if you're not familiar with floating bus stops, they are bus stops that are not located, so say this curb to our left, this pavement, a conventional bus stop would be placed on that pavement. A floating one would have a bike lane like this, and then it would have the floating bus stop to my right, so it would be like an island. The reason why this design exists is that when you have the bus stop on the pavement, say to my left, if a cyclist is behind the bus, to get ahead they have to go around the bus. And so say like a road like this where you've got two lanes, you then have to indicate and pull out into traffic and trying to concentrate on what's in front of you as well as what's behind you, and there is the possibility of being hit by a vehicle. So the floating bus stop means that that's not the case. What you have is you will have a zebra crossing or two in the cycle lane. And I saw a post the other day and this sparked the whole reasoning why I'm making this video. And people were saying floating bus stops are dangerous. I believe that that's not true. That what is dangerous is the way that some cyclists are not respecting the rights of pedestrians. Especially as people point out, those who have visual impairments, who can't hear the bicycles coming, and so can't even use sound as an indication that something's coming and whether it's safe. And then when you have people who refuse to stop, that creates the possibility of a collision and injury for both parties, to be honest. So in my opinion it doesn't really make sense, but I think it's a lot of selfishness, and maybe for some cyclists this idea of they just want to keep on, well obviously they want to keep on going. And I'm a cyclist, so I don't want to bash other cyclists. But what it does, unfortunately, there's this whole thing where when a cyclist or some cyclists do something, it does tend to be that we all get lumped into one monolithic group, that this is just the behavior of cyclists. It's interesting because I kind of feel that with car drivers, it's not so much of a thing. It tends to be more like BMW drivers do this, Audi drivers do that. Mercedes drivers do something else, like don't use indicators or use their horn too much and all this sort of stuff. But with cyclists it generally is this whole thing of, all cyclists do this behaviour. And I think it stems from, part of it is sometimes anti-cycling kind of crowd. as I said, there is the genuine concern of, say, with like a floating bus stop, that there is that safety risk of hitting someone because you don't want to um, give a pedestrian that moment to cross the road. I truly believe that they are needed, and an example that I felt was a good example where there should be a floating bus stop is the bus stop that's at the northern end of Waterloo Bridge, which is a bridge that I cross virtually every day when I'm heading to work. So originally this was just a bus lane, and I don't remember at what year this barrier was constructed to create a segregated cycle lane, a makeshift one. But we're about to come to the end of the segregated bike lane, and what happens, you might be able to see the bus stop just up ahead. The buses are to our right, but they need to pull in to the left. The cycle lane is actually between the two lanes at the end of the road. So cyclists have to now move over. And so there's a point where we cross, and that is a point where there could be a possible collision between cyclists and bus drivers. Thankfully, usually the buses are moving slow, but again, a floating bus stop would eradicate that issue. But I don't know what it would take to get some people, or some cyclists I should say, to consider, to follow the rules. And I think what's a shame is, I believe it just isn't, it's not to our detriment, because it further is used as fuel against us and the whole cycling movement. That people use this and say, look at the cyclists, they're dangerous. And in King's Cross, where the Google headquarters is located, you used to have appeared to be a road that was next to the headquarters, and it was a cycle lane. And now you have big signs saying no cycling. And I wonder, I don't know, I can't confirm this, but I wonder if it's maybe there was some incident and the management of that area, because it would be private space, decided that they now no longer wanted to allow cyclists to ride through there. So I think as a community, we've got to take some accountability and responsibility, and sort of not continue to do these things, because it really doesn't help us. But anyway, I'd like to see what you think. And thank you for joining me on this journey. And if you have enjoyed it, please do give me a like, subscribe and share. And I look forward to seeing your views in the comments and your views. Have a nice day, guys.